Has the inventory to get you into the new Ford car, truck, or SUV you're looking for. Buy with zero money down or get up to $2,000 equity cash on the spot for your vehicle. No purchase necessary. But don't miss out on the inventory still on our lot. Buy with zero money down or get out of your current lease with up to $2,000 equity cash on the spot. Rusty Eck Ford still has the inventory to get you into the new Ford car, truck, or SUV you're looking for.
Hurry, your summer road trip is waiting. Rush into Rusty Eck Ford. If you don't come see us today, we can't save you any money. RustyEckFord.com.
Offers valid on select in-stock vehicles with approved credit plus tax and fees. Not all qualify. Offer to buy contingent on current equity and leased vehicles subject to dealer final appraisal. All Ford rebates to dealer. See dealer for details. Offers expire 7/31/21.
There's more at Seven Clans First Council Casino and Resort. More payday. Seven Clans awarded one winner a $50,000 grand prize in our progressive drawing. More jackpots. Over $4 million every month paid out in jackpots. More benefits. The more you play with your Seven Clans reward card, the more you earn. And more fun. Exciting concerts, unique events, and family getaways at our spacious hotel and indoor water park. There's more at Seven Clans First Council Casino and Resort. Highway 77 in Newkirk.
Market information from Mid-America Ag Network. Thursday, a tough day for our cash grains. It was a tough day in the futures markets, too. But we'll take a look at the Kansas and Oklahoma closing cash grain bids on Thursday. It is July 22nd. We'll start in Panhandle Hooker, Oklahoma, where the wheat finished at $6.58, the corn $6.74, the milo $6.14, the beans $13.97. At Enid, the wheat $6.44, the milo finished at $6.41, the soybeans $13.12. Ponca City $6.25 on the wheat, $6.41 on the corn, $6.15 on the milo, and $14.02 on soybeans. At Belleville, Kansas, the wheat $6.24, the corn $6.06, milo $5.97, beans $13.72. At Fredonia, $6.23 on the wheat, $6.59 on the corn, $6.24 on the milo, and $14.01 on the soybeans. At Garden City, Kansas, the wheat $6.37, the corn $6.50, milo $6.15, soybeans $13.39. Sumner County, $6.40 on the wheat, $6.45 on the corn, $6.25 on the milo, and $13.96 on the beans. At Concordia, wheat finished at $6.34, corn closed at $6.16, milo is at $6.07, soybeans $13.82, and at Goodland, wheat closed out the day at $6.20, corn was at $6.21, milo finished at $5.76, and soybeans $14.02. Grab the calculator to come up with our averages, and everything is down across the board. $6.35, the average across Kansas and Oklahoma on wheat. That's down 15. Corn finished with an average of $6.39, down 7. Milo is at $6.12 on the average. That's down 7. Soybeans had a really tough day, $13.78 the average across Oklahoma and Kansas on beans. That's down 26. So not a good day anywhere we looked. Wheat down 15. Corn, milo both down 7. Soybeans down 26. Kansas and Oklahoma closing cash grain bids. Mid-America Ag Network.
Your local weather on KQAM, brought to you by Jewelry Savers. Conveniently located off K96 on Greenwich Road. The Kansas trusted jewelry source since 1971. Jewelry Savers.
Hot this afternoon in Wichita with a daytime high right around 90 degrees, lots of sun, and a south breeze at 5 to 15. Overnight tonight, mostly starry and lows only dropping to about 70. That's going to set the stage for a hot one on Friday, mostly sunny, highs in the mid-90s. With your forecast, I'm Cake meteorologist Frank Waugh.
That's your latest Cake First Alert weather update on the Big Talker, KQAM.
At 4:06, it's currently 90 degrees.
Fighting for freedom every day.
They are absolutely desperate to pretend the last 4 years never happened and for them to go back to what they liked to do before, which is create these massive spending bills to pretend that it's really, really important to you when you only get about 5% of what's in the bill, and they can't do it because we're aware of it. We're paying attention to it, and they don't like that.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hold on a second. I'm just not ready yet. It's gone by way too fast today. I'm trying to get everything up and going. The computer seems to be lagging. That's just the way things roll sometimes. Welcome in. It is a pre-Friday celebration. It's going to be a heck of a show for you today. I am laughing inside and outside, honestly, at how the left tries to be the woke side as they possibly can and then still get walked all over, and then they play the victim because they just don't understand. We're winning. And it may not seem like it at times, but conservative traditional values are winning day in and day out, and that's what we're here to report on. Welcome into the show, broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas, on our flagship radio station all over the country on radio, TV, live streaming, and podcasting. However you may be watching or listening, your Millennial General reports for duty like we do every single day because we don't care what they throw at us, all that mud they sling at us. It don't bring us down. It just makes us feel better because we're angering them. Sometimes you just got to push the button and watch it unfold because it's fun. It's comical. You know you're in the right. You know there's common sense out there. You know that you have the right answers. And sometimes you may waver a little bit or question yourself, but don't do it. Trust your instinct. Trust your gut because your gut's usually right, especially when it tells you you ate some bad stuff and then it gets really upset. So trust your instincts and trust what it has to tell you. I don't remember the last time I had some. I will admit, there are a couple fast food restaurant joints that I absolutely love. And no matter how many times you eat it, it always tears you up and you get a really bad upset and you feel sick as a dog after you eat it. And then like 3 days later, you're like, wow, that sounds really good again. You just don't learn your lesson sometimes. But you know what? It's like the kid trying to put their hand on the hot stove. Sometimes they just got to do it once or twice to learn and realize, wow, hot. That thing, don't touch. Welcome into the show. We got a lot to get to. David Morgan, the Morgan Report. He'll be joining us at the bottom of the hour as we talk about inflation. We'll talk about the infrastructure bill. We'll talk about the economy. We'll talk about, there's one concerning bit of news today from CNBC talking about the markets and the economy and how things are going. I don't know how much you follow the markets, the stock market up and down to the roller coaster that is there. Don't look at the day by day, hourly by hourly, because it'll drive you nuts. But if you look at it on a wider scale, it'll continuously move upward. That's just what it does. We'll hit bubbles. It'll drop down. It'll go back up. That's just the way the system works. We need a lot of bubbles to be filtered out. I try to use the analogy of like bleeding out your car brakes. If you have bubbles in your car brakes and in your brake lines, then they're not going to work. So you need to bleed them out, get the bubbles out of there, and make sure things are running smoothly. When the government prints money and injects it into the system with inflation, that's a bubble they're injecting into the system. And it's really hard to get out of that system. Donald Trump, and usually conservatives, when we lower taxes and we cut regulation, that's when everything deflates. It comes back down. It resets everything, and then we start to build. When we start printing more money and we start spending more money and we start taking more out of the GDP, then that's when the bubble starts to get created again and again and again and again, and then it blows up and it goes back down and it resets itself and continues to climb back up again, sometimes naturally, sometimes non-naturally. So we'll talk about some of that. We'll pick David Morgan's brain, but one story on CNBC today was Twitter reported higher than expected growth, which I'm still, obviously we're not doing a good enough job really walking it away. We say we want to walk away at times, and I'm guilty of it as well. I still have a Twitter account. I don't do much with it other than share the podcast link or the live stream on our Twitter account, which you can find at Hooser Reason if you do the Tweety. But outside of that, I don't do much with it anymore because I don't want to give them advertising airtime. I don't want to give them exposure. I don't want to be on their program doing their thing or on the app. So I try not to be too involved on it. And the podcast goes on there automatically for those that can see it because we do, I think, need a presence. But I don't want to give them a lot more money. So it's kind of a catch-22. You want the presence to get your message out there, but you don't want to give them any more money than you have to. But they reported higher than expected growth of like $1.2 billion worth of profit or worth of revenue that they've gotten over the last quarter. That's crazy. That's crazy with how much money they're making. So they're still rolling it in while we try to boycott Twitter in some way, shape, or form. At the same time, we're winning in other areas. And while the social media thing may still be silencing us, they may be trying to shadow ban us, they may be trying to control us in some way, shape, or form, we're still winning in some aspects. So I don't want to be all doom and gloom here. For example, in the Hollywood scene, if you know, a lot of the award ceremonies, terrible ratings. NFL, terrible ratings last year. Baseball, the first year after COVID-19, terrible. Even last year, terrible ratings for Major League Baseball. All over the why? You would think they'd be up. People can't go to the game because of COVID. They were sitting at home. They're going stir crazy. They want to watch a sporting event. Ratings were terrible for baseball and for football and for basketball, even a little bit. But yet they still continue on. So we're winning on those fronts, showing that we don't want to pay attention to them as we go into another football season. We won when the baseball ratings went down the tubes after they pulled the All-Star game from Georgia because of their election bill. We've done well on that front. On the movie sector, I'm really having a hard time with this one. On the movie front, I really wanted to see the new Space Jam movie. Not because of LeBron James. I could care less about LeBron James because he's kind of a not so bright crayon in the box. But I wanted to watch Space Jam because, being a 90s kid myself, I wanted to watch Space Jam. Space Jam was amazing with Michael Jordan and Bugs Bunny and the whole, cartoon, the Looney Tunes thing. I loved it. It's an icon. We actually watched it a few days ago for the first time. My little daughter, my little voice of reason, she's 7 years old. We watched the first Space Jam movie. It was on Hulu, I think. I think it was on Hulu. We watched it. I was so excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, Isla, you're going to love it. Sit down. Here's some popcorn. Here's some candy. Here's an ice cream, whatever you want. We're going to watch Space Jam. It's going to be great. We watched the whole thing. I'm laughing through it. I'm quoting parts of the movie. We're having a good time. At the end of the movie, I go, Isla, what'd you think? Little voice of reason, what did you think? Dad, I didn't like it. What? How do you not like Space Jam? You're not my daughter. How could you do that? The joke. I didn't say that. But I was very disappointed because Space Jam's kind of a classic. Maybe she's not old enough to get it yet. I'll wait a couple of years, maybe play it for her again. And I really wanted to see the second Space Jam. Not because of LeBron James, and that was a big deterrent. Then we got rid of Pepe Le Pew because he's apparently a womanizer, which is just stupid. But we got rid of Pepe Le Pew in the video as well. But good news on this front is that we're winning because it sounds like it opened up and the box office is about to bomb big time for LeBron James. And according to the postmillennial.com, despite LeBron James shutting up and dribbling for Champions League being tied to China with how he has all of his sponsorships, all of his endorsements are Chinese companies. He's kind of the spokesperson for China right now, and he's tried to play nice with them. Clay Travis, talk show host, a sports radio talk show host, tweeted out that despite LeBron James shutting up and dribbling for China, they still won't allow Space Jam 2 to air in the country of China, meaning the movie is likely to lose several $100 million and should be a massive story. LeBron bent to the knee of China, and they still spurned him, yet media refuses to cover it. So apparently the cost of the movie Space Jam cost $200 million. Now, in the U.S. alone, it's only set to make $60 to $70 million, which is hilarious. Because, obviously people are going to go see it. Some kids are going to want to go and see it. But only $60 to $70 million of revenue that's projected in the U.S. Without China, they're not going to make any money back on it. They're going to lose money, which is a big counter to what happened for the first Space Jam movie with Michael Jordan. That was a huge phenomenon. It was a huge movie, and it blew up all over the place. So the wannabe LeBron James, quote-unquote King James as he tries to call himself, that's supposed to be Mr. Important, that didn't turn out too well for him. So you want to talk about victory? We're winning. Because he got laughed at. He's getting kind of beat down with his big fame to the Hollywood scene, and China's not liking his stuff, not allowing it to air, and we're not going and actually giving them the profits to make their money back on the investment they made for that movie. So, you know what? We can walk away with that one. It's hard. It's hard not watching some of this stuff because I really do want to see it, but I'm not going to spend the money and I'm not going to support it in any way, shape, or form. And we've talked about this on the show many times before as well. It's sad when Hollywood, when your day-to-day spending, the generation above us, not my generation, the millennial generation, the generation above us, the two generations above us, my parents, my grandparents, they're dedicated to branding of certain companies. Hey, we use this certain oil for our car. That's the best one. That's what you got to get every single time. That's the one you got to get. We are, the kind of tractor, the kind of car. We're a Ford family. We're a Chevy family. We're a Dodge family. I don't know any Dodge families, but we're a Ford or we're a Chevy or we're a John Deere lawnmower or we're an International tractor or we're a whatever. It's about the branding, and the branding's fun because it's great competition and it's a great way for free market capitalism to flourish. Now it's a little bit muddled because then you got overseas stuff, and do you support the Honda and the Civic, or do you support the Toyota? Do you support the American company? But yet the Toyota or the American company is assembled overseas and then brought back, so it's not really helping the economy. So it's a little bit muddier in today's times. But back in the day, it was all about the branding. who you liked, who you thought was great, and what brand worked for you, and you stuck to that. You were dedicated to them. And if you're still one of those individuals, I applaud you for that. However, the world's complicated nowadays because nowadays businesses have made their decisions on who they make on political endorsements, who they support politically. Right now, you have companies that refuse to support Donald Trump, for example, in the presidential election, and then ones that did, and then there's a big boycott on those that did because they're evil fascist companies that support a tyrant. And then we turned around and overly support them, like Chick-fil-A and like Wendy's and like some of those that actually supported Donald Trump in the past, and then they got criticized for that, and we showed up in groves. But the ones that do support anti-Second Amendment agendas, the ones that do support Democrats and support unions or support the Democrat socialist agenda, then we have to work on our end, unfortunately, to end our support for those brands. And that's whether a movie, it's an actor. I love Liam Neeson. Taken, absolutely wonderful movie. I cannot watch a movie from him anymore after he said that Americans are stupid for having firearms. When every one of his movies, he is a hero with a firearm. But yet Americans are stupid for having guns. I can't watch another movie of his. Robert De Niro. I love Robert De Niro. Great movie. Great actor. Can't watch him. Can't watch a single movie that he's made over the last, 5 years. Haven't seen, and I refuse to watch it. I don't care if there's good ones out there. What is it? The Irishman on Netflix? Haven't watched it. I know it's like 3.5 hours long anyways. I can't watch it. I just can't do it. I will not bring myself to do it. Businesses, not to call a whole lot out by name, but Bank of America, for example. Do you know the Bank of America shut down people's debit cards and personal bank accounts because they tried to purchase firearms, because Bank of America is a very progressive company that actually wants to promote progressive things? I know because I worked for them for a few months. And some of the stuff we did, I was just like, I just don't want to be part of that. And then they started shutting down bank accounts. I don't bank there. There are other institutions like that do the same thing, that try to promote their agenda through their business and make political stances. And whether it's us changing the branding or not being dedicated fully to a brand, but being supportive of those that actually support the same agenda as us, unfortunately, we've come to a time in our life, in the world, to where everything you do, from the pens that you buy, to the shoes that you wear, to the clothes that you wear, to the music that you listen to the movies that you watch, to the social media that you support, to the news anchors and news channels that you watch, all of it is an endorsement one way or the other based on the views and opinions of what they're promoting as an individual or as an individual business. And it's kind of sad, isn't it?
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left seems to find new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back, and we can help with that. Visit our website at HooserReason.com. There's some really great stuff for you. You can read the latest blog discussing topical issues and current events. Let us know your thoughts by filling out our monthly survey. Keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Listen to the podcast of your favorite guest or show, and check out our latest Voice of Reason product infomercials. Plus, you can find upcoming show schedules and guest lineups to plan your radio listening appropriately. And finally, make sure to become a Hoosier-holic by subscribing to the free newsletter. Stay up to date on the latest news of the show, fun facts of the month, and learn new ways to defend and preserve this great republic. It's all there at HooserReason.com. Again, HooserReason.com. Go check it out. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HooserReason.com. Miss part of the show? Don't worry about it. There's plenty of ways to catch the program, and here's how you can do it. First, make sure to tune in every day right here on your favorite radio station. We're here for you. Second, subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite sites: YouTube and iTunes, Spotify and Google Play, TuneIn, Podbean, and more. Have the show automatically downloaded to your favorite device. Last, visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can listen to the podcast Catch our special features and more. It's the Voice of Reason on radio, TV, and online, helping you defend and preserve this great republic. Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. The show's growing all the time, and as we talk about the big issues of the day, one of the big parts of the program is you. And I want you to join us on the program. Whether you agree, disagree, or just want to relieve some of that political frustration, we're here for you. No matter where you may be watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, go ahead and leave a comment on the live stream. Chat with other listeners and let me know your thoughts on the topic. Also chat with us on the Podbean chat room. Just go to our live stream of the show at podbean.com and chat with other listeners. You can also call into the program. Just download the Podbean app onto your smartphone, join the live stream, and call in through the app. This is your show, and we want to hear your thoughts. So go ahead and join us here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network.
Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with the Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hooserholic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hooser Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com. For a schedule of upcoming guests on the program, daily show topics, or to reach out to the Hooser Media Network, visit us on the website at HooserReason.com. Or for general inquiries, to be a guest on the program, or to have Andy a guest on your program, email us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Keep fighting for freedom with us every day right here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network. Now, back to the show.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Welcome back into the program. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Radio, TV, live streaming, podcasting. Doesn't matter where you're at watching or listening. We appreciate you. We are getting down to the end of the month of July, which is mind-boggling already. Which means our newsletter is going to be coming out again next week, so make sure to tune in for that. Go to HooserReason.com, HOOSER Reason.com. You can sign up for the newsletter. You get your blog, you get your newsletter, you get the content, what's coming up on the show, what's not coming up on the show. There's a lot of cool stuff on there. Totally free. It only comes out once a month. We don't spam you. Just go to HooserReason.com and sign up. Become a Hooserholic. David Morgan, chief editor of the Morgan Report. He'll be joining us in just a few minutes as well. Also author of the book, The Silver Manifesto. We'll talk about the economy, inflation, spending, all that good jazz as well. The reason I bring that up, and I actually didn't plan on going down that whole tirade about the businesses and what you support and what you don't support. I mean, do what you will. It's obviously a free market. It is for right now, at least. It's a free market for the time being. But it is, I mean, where your money goes really matters now because you get to protect your agenda based on who you support and what businesses that you do, even, whatever. Everything that you do actually matters. I really wanted to play a couple clips. I'm going to see if I can play it right off the interweb here, but sometimes Facebook gets a little, whatever. They take the lag a little bit. But there's a new clip of Joe Biden. He was doing a town hall on CNN. I know, doing a town hall on CNN. Here's how he answered some of the questions, just to let you know again who our great fearless leader is at the time right now. He was on CNN doing the town hall. The question was asked, when will children under the age of 12 be able to get the vaccine? Which boggles my mind why we'd even want to inject children under the age of 12 or even the age of 12 or even the age of 18 or even the age of 20 by that matter, why you would want to inject them. Borderline to me on child abuse to actually inject your kids with that COVID-19 vaccine. But again, to each their own. But the question was, when will children under the age of 12 be able to get vaccinated for COVID-19? This is his response.
Way, just like the other question is illogical. And I've heard you speak about it because I'm not being solicitous, but you're always straight up about what you're doing. And the question is whether or not we should be in a position where you are, why can't the experts say We know that this virus is, in fact, it's going to be, or excuse me, we know why all the drugs approved are not temporarily approved, but permanently approved. Yeah. That's underway, too. I expect that to occur quickly.
Well, that means, you mean for the FDA?
For the FDA. Yeah.
Wow. That was a very long-winded opportunity for, hey, when are children going to be able to get vaccinated? Well, temporary vaccines, and, well, well, remember, this is the fearless leader. This is the leader of the U.S. Now, this is the same guy that said he wouldn't get the vaccine if Donald Trump promoted it, and obviously it came out during Donald Trump, so yeah, I find it fascinating that he doesn't want to get vaccinated. But next question. All right, Joe Biden, you answered that one solid, buddy. CNN's not going to catch you up on that one. Next one. How do you change the mistrust in the system among some members of the black community about the vaccine? How do you change their mind? How do you make them trust you? Obviously, they shouldn't be trusting the government because that hasn't worked out too well for them over the past years when Democrats were in control. See what I did there? That's called a joke, but yet it's true all at the same time. So how do you change that mistrust in the system within the black community?
You got the vaccination?
Yeah.
Are you okay? I mean, you seem, no, it works. Or or the mom and dad, or the neighbor, or when you go to church, or when you're, no, I really mean it. There are trusted interlocutors. Think of the people, if your kid wanted to find out whether or not there's a man on the moon, or whatever, something, or, whether those aliens are here or not, who are the people they talk to beyond the kids who love talking about it?
Wow. There you go. I don't even know how to respond to that one. I pulled a Joe Biden there. My mind went blank. I don't know how to respond. That's Joe Biden, our fearless leader. David Morgan with the Morgan Report right after this here on The Voice of Reason. Stay here.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser. While you listen to the delightful broadcast of The Voice of Reason, don't forget to check us out and follow us on all of our social media sites. Whether you're using Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Minds.com, or Instagram, we're there for you. Find us at Hooser Reason on any of your social media platforms. You'll see special commentary, links to the articles and news that we use on the show, and videos of the broadcast. Plus, you can directly send us a message on social media during the show to let me know your thoughts. Many already do, and it's a great chat room for all of our great listeners. And you can always sign up for the Patreon site to get exclusive content, maybe hear show products before we air them on the radio, and a lot more. And when you support us on Patreon, you also help the show be able to fight for conservative values each and every day. So it's a win-win. Just find us at Hooser Reason on all of your social media platforms, or you can find a link to all of our social media sites on our website at HooserReason.com. We know you're on social media already, so bring some reason into your day. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do.
The Hooser Media Network is way more than just the voice of reason. It's your source to find numerous different online talk shows, podcasts, TV, and radio programs, all in one simple online location for you. From political talk to health talk to whatever you may be interested in, we're here for you. And I tell you, it's growing every day. Catch Tracy Maxfield with her podcast, Engage, Educate, and Empower, discussing mental health issues in children and teenagers. From bullying, teenage suicide, addiction, ADHD, and so much more, learn from Tracy and her guests about symptoms, signs, and ways to talk to your children, plus so much more. Having battled depression, being the author of the internationally acclaimed book, Escaping the Rabbit Hole, and being a retired nurse, Tracy is kind of the go-to on the subject. Make sure to find her on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, along with her website at tracymaxfield.com. Also, make sure to tune into the weekly podcast Jump, Pivot, and Roll with Shannon Stiles and Rachel Murphy. Taking that next big leap of faith is hard. Trying to write a book, maybe struggling with a relationship, looking to take that next big career step. What's stopping you? There's a lot of big questions there, and they're questions that Rachel and Shannon want to help with you each and every week. It's Jump, Pivot, and Roll on any of your favorite podcasting sites and on Facebook and YouTube. All of these shows and a heck of a lot more can be found on the Hooser Media Network Facebook and YouTube channels. Make sure to follow and subscribe to check them out today. Follow all the shows, and if you have any inquiries, check us out at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with the Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hooserholic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hooser Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com.
Oh, hi. You know, conservative messages now are more important than ever before. Election season, state legislative issues, and a rise in the radical left socialist progressive agenda. What we really need now more than ever before is knowledge and wisdom. That's where we come in. Hi, I'm Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason, and I'm your voice for reasonable talk, conservative commentary, great guests and entertainment on radio, TV, and the internet. It's time to bring some common sense back into the discussion. National issues, state legislative issues, no matter where you may be, upcoming elections, and a heck of a lot more, we can bring traditional values, constitutional principles, and local activism back. And here's what you can do. First, follow us on all the social media platforms at Hooser Reason. You can watch the live stream of the show, leave comments, and even call into the program. Second, make sure to subscribe to the podcast on all of your audio devices, from iTunes and Spotify to Google Play and TuneIn. Make sure to subscribe to have every episode automatically downloaded so you don't miss a single episode. Third, make sure to visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can catch our monthly blog talking about deeper discussions, see who's coming on the program, plus you can sign up for our free monthly newsletter to catch the latest on the show, monthly topics, upcoming interviews, and more. It's time to be that local activist again. That's what the Voice of Reason's all about. Why? Because that's kind of the reasonable thing to do. And it's time for you to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. The show's growing all the time, and as we talk about the big issues of the day, one of the big parts of the program is you. And I want you to join us on the program. Whether you agree, disagree, or just want to relieve some of that political frustration, we're here for you. No matter where you may be watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, go ahead and leave a comment on the live stream. Chat with other listeners and let me know your thoughts on the topic. Also chat with us on the Podbean chat room. Just go to our live stream of the show at podbean.com and chat with other listeners. You can also call into the program. Just download the Podbean app onto your smartphone, join the live stream, and call in through the app. This is your show, and we want to hear your thoughts. So go ahead and join us here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network.
When Reason Meets Radio. You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Darn right you are. Welcome back into the program here on a pre-Friday celebration. Can you believe almost the end of the week already? It goes by way too fast, as well as this show, because we are by far, I don't care what other talk show hosts say, we are by far the fastest hour of radio on radio, plus TV, plus live streaming, plus the podcasting, Everett, which we are killing it on the podcast downloads this month. Thank you very much for that. We appreciate it, going up every single month. Again, on the newsletter, we'll have all that information on what states are listening, how many downloads we're getting, all that good stuff. Go to the website, HooserReason.com, HOOSER Reason.com. Sign up for the newsletter, become a Hooserholic. When it asks you and it pop-ups and say, do you want to become a Hooserholic? You're like, heck yes, I do. Sign up, totally free, and we'll have all that fun information on there for you. Plus, on the website, we do have a link to all of our social media sites, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch.tv, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, OurFreedomBook.com, and others as well. All the links are there on the website at Hooser Reason. Also, all of those have the handle at Hooser Reason, which you can find on there as well. All right, couldn't get a hold of David Morgan yet. We'll try and get him on the program before we wrap up the show, because I really want to talk to him about the economy and how things are going right now with this inflation rate. Did you know the inflation rate, it went up by like 4.6% from year to year this time compared to last year? That's the largest inflation rate, the fastest growing inflation rate that we've seen since like 2016. 2012. It was 2012 under Barack Obama. We're supposed to see another near 3 to 4% inflation growth over the next year. Again, on top of what we've already done, which will be the highest it's been since like 2008. I don't know if you noticed or not, both of those years are under the Barack Obama reign. Shocker? No, because we have essentially the same administration in office right now. Other than the fact that this time we have a guy that can't talk as opposed to a guy that talks really, really smoothly.
You got the vaccination?
Yeah.
Are you okay? I mean, you seem, no, it works. Or, you know.
Hold on, stop there. I love that. He's talking to CNN during this town hall. And they're asking again, the question was, how do you change the mistrust in the system among some members of the black community? And he's talking to the, and I don't even know this guy's name, the CNN reporter who is black. Did you take the vaccine? Yeah. How do you feel? You look a little, I don't know, look fine, I guess. He almost said, you look a little peakish right now. Not looking too good. Got the vaccine? Oh, I'm sorry. Look a little peakish right now. And then he goes on about like UFOs and stuff.
Or the mom and dad, or the neighbor, or when you go to church, or when you're, no, I really mean it. There are trusted interlocutors. Think of the people, if your kid wanted to find out whether or not there's a man on the moon or whatever, something, or, whether those aliens are here or not, who are the people they talk to beyond the kids who love talking about it?
Yeah, there you go. I'm not sure what he's trying to get at. Talk to your community, I guess. If you're trying to reach out to certain communities, talk to other members of the community, I guess, or be that local activist. I guess you're trying to make that statement, but you're doing a really, really bad job at that one. So well done, buddy. Again, that's the leader of the free world. But yet things are all in order again. These aren't the droids you're looking for. The last 4 years of Donald Trump, they're gone, and we don't have to worry about them anymore. And we are now back on track doing what we want to do. I'm telling you, there is such mistrust out there from the media. There is such mistrust from elected officials. There is such mistrust out in the world right now. You shouldn't, nor I don't think a lot of people do, trust anybody. From talk show hosts, don't trust me when I say. Validate what I say. Verify it. I try to talk about the topical issues and use common sense and be like, wow, it's, this is the way I see it because that just makes logical, reasonable sense. But you don't have to agree with me. I don't want you to agree with me. And if you do disagree with me, I am more than happy to have you on the program or to read your email, which you can at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. I am more than happy to read that because I like to hear other sides so I can be like, oh, that makes sense too. Or you don't make any sense, dude. I don't want to hear any of this. Because when you hear things like,
I am told this is a garbage disposal,
then usually you've hit the level of, I don't quite grasp where you're coming from, AOC. But there's such mistrust in the world right now with taxes, with political bills, with COVID-19, with the vaccines, that most people don't trust anything. And they're looking for a voice, I think, of reason or of common sense or of just normalcy again, which is what we try to present here, of just normalcy again. Let's get back to the way things used to be when they worked. Why try to fix something if it's not broken? Why try to redo things and reinvent the wheel when we have the wheel that's running really smoothly? Why try to do things differently if it's working? Capitalism, with all its many flaws that it may potentially have, which aren't as much as nearly all the other types of systems out in the world, is the best system that humans can come up with. Now, the problem is that man corrupts. And when they have power, then they corrupt absolutely. That's what they do. So we try to limit that power and give everybody the opportunity to do your thing. But we're not seeing that, especially with COVID. And I know you're sick and tired of hearing about COVID, but golly, this is coming back. There are states now wanting to lock down again. The headline on Drudge Report right now, the White House wanting to put in mask mandates and social distancing guidelines for the nation from the CDC again because the Delta variant cases are going up. Now, the Delta variant cases are not all of the cases that people have right now. And guess what? 30% of those people in hospitals around the country right now are people that have already been vaccinated. 30%, which means, sure, you may have a minuscule chance of still getting it if you got vaccinated, but it's still a decent chance. 30% of all hospitalizations right now, vaccinated individuals. So tell me how the vaccine is actually working. The Pfizer or the Johnson & Johnson? Don't remember which one. Only has a 60% effective rate against the Delta variant. So now we got to start taking different shots for every different variant that's out there. When have we ever done with any other virus? When have we ever done that? Do we do that with the flu? Well, there's like 200 different variants of the flu. Not sure which one it's going to be this year. What do? They try to decide which one's going to be the most prevalent for the year. Then make the flu vaccine for that one, and then go get your flu shot. And then people that get it still get sick. The people that don't get it usually don't get sick, or they do and it's not very severe, and then you go about your day. Guess what? Here's a brain shocker for you. Here's a big one if you're all about the vaccine and scared to death about this virus. The virus is in the air. It's not going anywhere. It is now something that is airborne that will never go away. It will be like the flu. It is always going to be in the air. So we have two options. We stay locked down completely to hide from it and wear masks and get vaccines and live in our little bubbles. Or you can admit we live in a biological world. We can learn to deal with it. We learn to build up an immunity to it. Do you realize that if you got COVID and you are still living today, you have a stronger immune system against it than taking the vaccine? Because the vaccine is not going to make your body as strong against it as if you got it, survived it, and built up antibodies against it. I know, crazy talk. There are people that are so anti-vax, which, again, I'm not like completely all anti-vaccine. I'm not taking this one. But there are some people that are so anti-vaccine, according to CBS News. There's a patient in Louisiana right now that said he's opting out of the vaccine while he's in the hospital and say that he would rather die than actually get the vaccine. Now they're playing it as the misinformation spread by right-wing commentators and right-wing conspiracy theorists and why we're not properly educating individuals about the vaccine. And I don't really care whether you get it or not. I have my concerns about the vaccine. A lot of other people have their concerns about the vaccine. That's not the point that I try to rail on. I try to rail on too here, and here's a bit of information for you, and I've been holding on to this nugget for a while now. There are medical reports out. There are medical journals out reporting, there are studies out that 90 to 95% of all the individuals that have had severe cases of COVID-19 are vitamin D deficient. Now, the majority of the population as a whole is vitamin D deficient. Why is that, Andy? That's because we're not outside nearly as much. We absorb vitamin D from the sun, and when we have office jobs, when we work inside throughout the day, then you're vitamin D deficient. And most people don't take vitamin D vitamins. And when you do, most people just take vitamin D vitamins instead of taking magnesium and zinc as well that actually break it down and the compounds bind together, and that's what boosts your immune system. Here's the kicker. Vitamin D not only helps boost your immune system, vitamin D actually helps respiratory viruses like pneumonia and pneumonia-like virus sicknesses. That's the focal point of vitamin D. What body part, and we can ask I guess I can ask the general population on this one. What body part, what part of your body does COVID-19 primarily hit? I'm trying to think. Hold on a second. I'm trying to remember. It's the toes, right? No, not the toes. Hold on here. It was the back, the liver. No, it wasn't the back of the liver. No. Oh, that's right. Wait a second. It was the lungs. It affects your lungs. It hardens them up. It puts in the webs to where you can't breathe properly. It makes it difficult to breathe. People get on respirators. It affects the lungs. The same vitamin that most people, that 80% of the population is deficient in with vitamin D, that helps with pneumonia and other viral things that affect your lungs. Everybody's deficient in it, and that's the virus that ends up hitting people in that body part. Well, they don't talk about that in the mainstream media. They say, guess what? 70% of those that are actually hospitalized are people that are unvaccinated right now. Yet what they fail to mention is that 90% of those people that are in the hospital are also vitamin D deficient. The other ones are either overweight and have poor health decisions, or they're elderly or already have immune-compromised systems because they're actually sick. These are medical studies that are coming out. The media is not reporting on it, but yet when we record this, then this will probably be banned off of social media, and people will call me a nut job and a conspiracy theorist. But the numbers are out there. The science is out there, and they're finally starting. There was a new study that was done by, let me see if I can find it real quick here. I'm just kind of doing this on the fly because this is not the direction I intended to go today. But that's okay. Here's the latest study from Harvard Medical School, along with King's College of London. And I don't know where that came from. Okay, so the latest study from Harvard Medical School and King's College of London has reported that if you eat healthy and based on your diet, you're up to 40% less likely to become severely ill from COVID-19. Just from proper dietary eating habits, making your body healthier, what you're putting into your body. without a vaccine, without the mask wearing, without living in the bubble, without washing your hands and using the hand sanitizer ad nauseum, just eating properly, and you have a 40% less chance of actually getting severely ill. What a concept.
With Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left seems to find new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back, and we can help with that. Visit our website at HooserReason.com. There's some really great stuff for you. You can read the latest blog discussing topical issues and current events. Let us know your thoughts by filling out our monthly survey. Keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Listen to the podcast of your favorite guest or show, and check out our latest Voice of Reason product infomercials. Plus, you can find upcoming show schedules and guest lineups to plan your radio listening appropriately. And finally, make sure to become a Hoosier-holic by subscribing to the free newsletter. Stay up to date on the latest news of the show, fun facts of the month, and learn new ways to defend and preserve this great republic. It's all there at HooserReason.com. Again, HooserReason.com. Go check it out. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Miss part of the show? Don't worry about it. There's plenty of ways to catch the program, and here's how you can do it. First, make sure to tune in every day right here on your favorite radio station.
We're here for you.
Second, subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite sites. YouTube and iTunes, Spotify and Google Play, TuneIn, Podbean, and more. Have the show automatically downloaded to your favorite device. Last, visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can listen to the podcast, catch our special features, and more. It's the Voice of Reason on radio, TV, and online, helping you defend and preserve this great republic. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HooserReason.com.
Oh, hi. You know, conservative messages now are more important than ever before. Election season, state legislative issues, and a rise in the radical left socialist progressive agenda. What we really need now more than ever before is knowledge and wisdom. That's where we come in. Hi, I'm Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. And I'm your voice for reasonable talk, conservative commentary, great guests and entertainment on radio, TV, and the internet. It's time to bring some common sense back into the discussion. National issues, state legislative issues, no matter where you may be, upcoming elections, and a heck of a lot more, we can bring traditional values, constitutional principles, and local activism back. And here's what you can do. First, follow us on all the social media platforms at Hoosier Reason. You can watch the live stream of the show, leave comments, and even call into the program. Second, make sure to subscribe to the podcast on all of your audio devices, from iTunes and Spotify to Google Play and TuneIn. Make sure to subscribe to have every episode automatically downloaded so you don't miss a single episode. Third, make sure to visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can catch our monthly blog talking about deeper discussions, see who's coming on the program, plus you can sign up for our free monthly newsletter to catch the latest on the show, monthly topics, upcoming interviews, and more. It's time to be that local activist again. That's what the Voice of Reason's all about. Why? Because that's kind of the reasonable thing to do. And it's time for you to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason.
Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with the Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hoosier-holic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hoosier Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying the program today. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite podcasting sites and have the show automatically downloaded to your phone or computer every single day. Just find us on any podcasting site
or go to HooserReason.podbean.com. And be sure to check out our Patreon site, become the ultimate Hoosierholic, and help us fight for conservative values every day. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Now back to the national broadcast of the Voice of Reason.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Welcome back into the program. By the way, speaking of health, I'm done with the COVID thing. It's frustrating. I don't want to talk about it anyway. It's stupid. Stupid. Locking down things again is just completely unnecessary. We got to learn to live with it and adapt with it. To get your vaccine, don't get your vaccine. Take vitamin D, don't take vitamin D. I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to do my thing. I know what I want to do, and you can do your thing. And that's the beauty of individualism and private liberty with your rights to choose on how you want to. The Constitution, individual rights, natural rights from God do not get suspended when there's a health issue or when things get bad. That's when we embrace those things, and we have to remember that. So whatever side of the spectrum you're on, believing in the virus and the severity of it, or who's being affected, or what you can do to take care of yourself or others around you, that's you and you to decide. You do not suspend natural rights or human rights or God-given rights or constitutional law just when things get bad. That's not the way things were set up. It was intended to. If that was the case, we would just be like Rome, to where whenever we decided to go to war, we just appoint an emperor to run everything, and then they don't like to lose that power, so they just continuously try to expand and create more wars, so that way they never lose the power. If that's the direction we want to go towards, that's cool. I'm pretty sure that we like our individual rights and our God-given rights, and that we embrace those even when times get tough, because that's when they're most important. And that's the message we have to run away with this at the end of the day, is remember where we actually come from on that front. But speaking of health, tomorrow on our Friday, on our kind of our Freaky Friday or off-topic Friday or whatever we want to call it, tomorrow we have a comedian on the show by the name of Mickey Bell, and he wrote a book, and he talks about depression as he's battled depression and ways that you can help fight depression as well. Kind of a heavy topic for a Friday, but I think it's really important. And being a comedian and getting kind of the contrast of making people laugh, but yet feeling that deep down suffering, that sucking of life that is depression as well, kind of a really important topic. So we'll talk with Mickey Bell coming up on the show tomorrow. Going to be a great topic, and you're not going to want to miss that one. Regardless of where, again, you fall on the COVID issue or the tax issue or the spending issue or the social programs issue or any of those issues, I have to give major props and major kudos to conservatives and Republicans across the nation, because we are beginning to wake up. This great awakening that people talk about, this great reset that people, whatever you want to call it, things are changing. It's not back to the status quo. As much as Democrats and progressives and even moderate Republicans in the elites and the establishment, the deep state, whatever you want to, label them in Washington, D.C., as much as they tried to say, we want to get rid of Trump so we can go back to the norm of passing bills, bickering about 2%, most people not even knowing what the rest of the bill's about, trying to pass it to see what's in it, trying to ram through more spending stuff. That stuff's gone. That awareness or lack of awareness that we had is gone. We're now aware. We're now awake. We're now watching what you're doing, and we're paying attention to it, and we see what's happening. Believe what you want to about the QAnon conspiracy. I'm not a QAnon conspiracist. I entertained it. I think it was fun to watch and follow and track, but I didn't necessarily believe it. But regardless of whether you believe on that as well, what has it done? Whether you believe everybody in Washington, D.C. is a pedophile or not, which I obviously think there are some that went to the whole Epstein Island thing. I don't think that the entire, D.C. is that corrupt. God, I hope not, because that would be devastating to us. But whether you believe that extent of it or not, what is it? What did that do? That entire movement, what did it make us do as the general population? It made us pay more attention to what they were doing in Washington, D.C. It was the overcorrection, and we've used this analogy in the past as well, when you're batting, playing baseball. If you have the wrong form and you're not hitting the baseball and you're swinging under it every time, you're swinging over it every time, you don't have the right form, what does your coach do? Or if you were a coach for children, what did you make them do? You made them overcorrect their stance to where they would fight it, they would resist, and they would slide into that nice little slot for it to work properly. You would overcorrect to get the muscle memory. QAnon, regardless of whether you liked what they said or not or believed what they did or not, overcorrected in order for us to be more aware, become more aware, pay more attention of what they're doing. And it's working, and it's beginning to pay off, because what's happening right now? Right now, we're seeing Republicans stand up, run for office a year and a half away from the midterm election, and challenge Republicans that are normally safe. Normally safe, that they don't usually have an issue. They don't usually have a primary challenger. They don't usually have people questioning them on what they do. And they get such in the grind to go up to D.C., make the backdoor deals, smoke a cigar, make $500,000 on some kind of special interest project, get some money for their campaign, and then say, oh, I'm working really hard for you. We're going to do this again. Nah, we're waking up. We're more aware. We're challenging people, and it could be bad for the party because maybe we go too far extreme and the general population doesn't like it in the general elections. I doubt that, because I think once we go to the understanding that we're a family as a Republican Party or as a Democrat Party, that, you know what, you go into the general election realizing that you vote for that unfortunate lesser of two evils, which I do not like that system, but it's the system we have. Then guess what? We can start cleaning up the party, and we're doing it. More people aware, more people active, more people engaged, and we're the catalyst for that here on this show. It's what it's all about. This is The Voice of Reason. I'm Andy Hooser. Everybody have a great day. Back at it tomorrow for a Friday to wrap up your week. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. While you listen to the delightful broadcast of The Voice of Reason, don't forget to check us out and follow us on all of our social media sites. Whether you're using Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Minds.com, or Instagram, we're there for you. Find us at Hooser Reason on any of your social media platforms. You'll see special commentary, links to the articles and news that we use on the show, and videos of the broadcast. Plus, you can directly send us a message on social media during the show to let me know your thoughts. Many already do, and it's a great chat room for all of our great listeners. And